Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. So, normally, when there's a mass shooting, I'm one of those people that come out pretty quick and I'm like, okay, hold up. Let's not go jumping. Let's not go saying all kinds of crazy stuff. But it didn't take long of looking at this one, and I started to have some questions. Now, I'm not in any way saying that it's not as being reported. But once again, we've got some glaring things that relate this to many of the other things that have gone on. I have become accustomed to a quick little procedure anytime there's an event like this that happens, and I'll put either the name of the person or I'll put the event. A lot of times it'll be the name of the person. I'll put the name of the person, and then I will put heavy behind it. And when you do that, you are going to find something like this. And these folks are incredible at the detailed information that they put together, the accuracy of that information, and I'll tell you what, it's a go-to place. So anytime there's an event like that and you wanna, they release the name or whatnot, and you wanna know details, this is a pretty good place to go. So I came here and I started reading into this, and so there's a lot of things that kind of just right on the surface, they just kind of, I don't know what you want to say, they kind of smacked me upside the head a little bit funny, just right from the surface. The club name Q, yeah, just that I thought was interesting. However, that's probably the least interesting of all of the things I see. So, for one, they're being incredibly tight-lipped on a lot of the details involving this, especially, a lot of times they'll have quite a bit more information released than what they do up at this point. But let me kind of break down the who and what, because that's where I think some important information is. So, it says here, the active shooter burst into the nightclub with a long rifle, opened fire just before midnight. Let's see, November 20th, he was subdued by heroic patrons who were credited with saving lives. One disarmed Aldrich and beat him with the suspect's own gun, according to NPR. Now, I find that as an incredibly, beat him with his own gun, huh? Not saying it's not possible, but I've heard a Ghost of Kiev story or two in my time. Just saying. Heavy has confirmed that Aldrich is the grandson, this is kind of the part that I was talking about, of outgoing Republican State Assembly member Randy Vopel, the former mayor of Santee, California. Vopel represents the 71st District in the San Diego area. There were calls to expel Vopel from the State Assembly after he made comments comparing the January 6 attacks to the Revolutionary War. Aldrich's mother, Laura Vopel, has written posts praising Randy Vopel on Facebook and confirming he is her father. This is Lexington and Concord. First shots fired against tyranny. Randy Voepel, who was defeated in a Republican primary in August of 2022, said in a San Diego Union-Tribune article 3 days after January 6. Tyranny will follow in the aftermath of the Biden swear-in on January 20th. According to the San Diego Union-Tribune, Voepel later tweeted that he condemned violence and lawlessness. Voepel and his office did not immediately respond to requests for comments from Heavy. It goes in and says, well, I guess I'll name them. I guess it would probably be disrespectful not to. The first two victims named were bartenders Derek Rump and Daniel Aston, who were remembered in tributes for their kindness and vibrant personalities. Of course, you know it was a gay bar. Let's see. You can read more about the victim. I guess I got about the victim. Sorry. They have added stuff in here since I looked at it earlier. It says here, Aldrich was, and let's see, is this him? Oh no, these are the victims. Aldrich was arrested in 2021 after his mother reported to police he was threatening to harm her with a homemade bomb and multiple weapons, according to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. He was arrested after a standoff and charged with 6 felonies. 6 felonies. But he was not prosecuted, records show. Must be nice. The El Paso County District Attorney has not commented on why the case was dropped. I don't know why. I mean, they should just be full of comments about that. I'm shocked. Authorities said the Colorado Springs active shooting is being investigated through the lens of a hate crime, but that has not been definitely determined. It is with a heavy heart that I have to tell you that we have had a shooting at a local club this evening. Castro, the police spokesperson in Colorado Springs, said no officer-involved shooting was involved. Let's see. Authorities said that Anderson Aldrich is a 22-year-old male. Authorities have not yet released a photo of Aldrich. The photos Heavy have found are a few years old, so he looks younger in them. Let's see. Then he likely looks today. Sorry, some people are falsely sharing a picture of Raleigh, North Carolina Christmas parade suspect Landon Glass on Twitter and saying it is Aldrich. Glass has nothing to do with the Club Q shooting. Let's see. Other victims have not been identified. They were having a drag show. I'm trying to real quick scan through the to the important stuff. There's quite a bit of stuff in this article. Yeah, we'll get through some of this. Let's see. Online records show Aldrich living at an apartment complex address in Colorado Springs. Online record indicates he shares that address with his mother, Laura Voepel, 44, who works as a support engineer and previously lived in California. Laura has praised her father in Facebook post. Let's see. This is probably an important thing to point out that they pointed out. On Aldrich's birthday, Laura Voepel wrote on Facebook, "My boy's 15th birthday. He got head-to-toe 6'3" ghillie military suit, and he is surfing Cloud 9. She tagged her mother in the post, who is Randy's ex-wife. That means, in my opinion, nothing. But, it is what it is. He could have been in any number of things. I'm not going to sit there and judge a person by that little tad of knowledge. He might have been into the airsoft or the gel things or whatever. A lot of kids into that. Heavy was not able to find any social media profiles for Aldrich, but Facebook posts made by his mother reveal he had been dealing with mental health issues She posted often about her son in a Facebook group for women involved in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Colorado Springs area. In one post in July 2021, she asked for help finding a criminal defense attorney. Hello, sisters. Does anyone know of, let's see, a fantastic defense attorney? Sorry, I was getting lost between lines. I asked this with a heavy heart, but my family really needs some help at this time. We have cash to retain good counsel. Thank you. Her post about needing a criminal defense attorney came just after her son was arrested. Right, exactly, Hexapruce. I mean, it's like a broken record at this point. Looked for, at one point, she was looking for a trauma PTSD therapist. Looking for a boxing coach at one time. I mean, none of this stuff strikes me as anything to be concerned about. None of that. Not the ghillie suit, not the, I'm just realistic. She was asking if somebody had a heavy-duty fan that he could use while he was in, I guess, college. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Now, there is an incident, and we're going to get to that. Let's see. And they really go in heavy into Mr. Vopel. I'm talking about the grandfather, the Randy Vopel. They really go into his information pretty deep, and I took note of that too, because why do I need to know so much about Randy Vopel? I'm just curious why I need to know so much about Randy Vopel. The suspect, let me have a sip of coffee. Okay, 3 sips. Well, the suspect entered Club Q and immediately began shooting people inside. Vasquez said at least 2 heroic people confronted and stopped Anderson Aldrich from being able to harm others, the chief said. The witnesses were not identified. The FBI is on the scene. Police are still working to identify the victims who have died, he said. Aldrich used a long rifle, he said. Let's see. Some of the people were wounded when they fled. All might not have been shot, which is usual in a situation like this. The call came in just before 11:57 p.m. of an active shooting at Club Q. The suspect is in the hospital, but Castro said she did not know the gunman's condition or how the shooter sustained the injuries. In a press conference on November 20th, Castro said police responded within seconds, and by 12 a.m. the first officer arrived at the scene. By 12:02 a.m. the suspect was in custody. The suspect was located inside. He had numerous people transported to multiple local hospitals by ambulance and police vehicles. The FBI is there, of course. They said they got numerous calls on this. Apparently the suspect has not spoken with police. And I guess didn't appear to have said anything at the crime scene. Okay, now here's where we get into a little bit of history here. In 2021, Anderson Lee Aldrich was accused of being involved in a bomb threat situation with weapons in the Lorson Ranch neighborhood of Colorado Springs, a press release says. That coincides with the time frame in which his mother was seeking a criminal defense attorney. According to the June 18, 2021 press release from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, The reporting party said her son was threatening to cause harm to her with a homemade bomb, multiple weapons, and ammunition. The reporting party was not in the home at the time when she made the call and was not sure where her son was. Authorities responded and realized the suspect, Anderson Lee Aldrich, date of birth 5/20/2000, was in a residence 1 mile away. The deputies contacted him by phone and he refused to surrender. A tactical support unit responded to the scene and began evacuating 10 homes in the area as a precaution. Eventually, he complied and walked out the front door after a crisis negotiations unit became involved, the release says. It says he was booked into the El Paso County Jail on charges of felony menacing and first-degree kidnapping. That press release said a mugshot for Aldrich, who would be released in the future. Heavy contacted the jail to seek that mugshot and was sent to a voicemail that is full. Wow, really? Authorities would not comment on any past criminal history for Anderson Aldrich. There is no ongoing court case listed for Anderson Aldrich in Colorado court records. No formal charges were ever filed, and the case was sealed, so it is not clear why, Gazette.com reported. Well, let me tell you why. All of that was shoved under the rug and sealed because of good old granddad in his position. Let's just be real honest about this. So that's the how and why that happened. Now, on the other end of this, with them wanting to drag, I don't want to get names wrong, sorry. Hang on. Randy Vopel, in order to, drag him, because I got to drag him under the mud now. And they have to link him to that because, of course, if they link the grandfather to this, then, well, hell, they've definitely got a hate crime then. 'Cause he was red team, and he was a Trump supporter, and he was, you know the drill. Let's see. We were here. The newspaper reported that Aldrich called an editor and asked for the story to be removed from the website. There is absolutely nothing here. The case was dropped, and I'm asking you either remove or update the story. Aldrich told the Gazette in a voicemail the entire case was dismissed. The Gazette questioned why this arrest did not activate Colorado's red flag law. So, yeah, you have all those questions to be asked. Clearly, at some point he was involved in an incident sounded pretty serious, but let's not jump on anything and ruin a young man's life permanently because of a very, very temporary situation that they didn't know how to react to. The thing of it was anybody harmed? Did he harm somebody? And what had happened before? Did he actually do something? Did he try to do something? No. Other than being scared and not wanting to give himself up? I mean, I have to look at that. Doesn't mean that, the initial charges were, wrong to do and all of that. However, I will say this. I don't think that they should have ruined his life for that. Absolutely not. But I think it should be a matter of record. I don't think that every trace of that should be gone. I just don't think that it should be able to be held against him as long as he didn't do anything else. Which is not the case here, clearly, but I'm just, I see stuff like that, and maybe I'm not quite as affected by it as what a lot of people are. But, let's see. Authorities have not released the gunman's motive. However, in a statement, the club referred to it as a hate attack. Authorities said they were still investigating whether the mass shooting was a hate crime. Goes on into what the club had going on, and that they had just released an announcement about what was, I guess, another event they were having. There was a spot where I did quit reading, to be honest. They kind of go in, they talked a little bit here. Nothing really big there. Hang on. This I can kind of, to an extent, understand these feelings. Pardon me. Why is he not in jail after that happening, and referring to his prior event? Again, if he was distraught, if it was a very temporary thing, and there was nothing done, nothing attempted to be done, let's not completely ruin his life. As far as the Second Amendment, I don't think that he should have been restricted from having firearms. But I do think that people should have been paying a little closer attention to what he had going on in his life. I don't know what else to say. There are people that have something wrong with them that they can't handle with stress, and they snap. And, I'm of the belief pretty much any one of us could be put in that position. I just think that everybody has their own level of what they can take, and I think some people, that level gets surpassed and they lose it. I also have suspicions about instances like this because it just seems too coincidental. And it seems like they sure are tying up a bunch of loose ends at one time. It's just interesting. It's just interesting. More support for gun laws. More support to dehumanize anybody that supports conservatives or Trump. God forbid Trump. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm surprised that it wasn't in the art. I didn't read it all. And it's heavy. I really don't know how much of their personal standings they put in this, but don't be surprised if somehow they don't try to attach Trump to it. I mean, they kind of did already to a little level, but they haven't tried to take that much of a stretch. Not at least heavy, anyway. I can't speak for anybody else. I hear you, Hexafoos. I have a lot of questions on this one. I really do have a lot of questions. Oh, if they break out with a manifesto, that's it. That's it. If they break out with a manifesto, yeah. They ain't even trying anymore is what that is. Oh, man. But, here we go again. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Hang on one second. Yay. All right. Huh. This is what I was saying earlier about the claim that a bystander subdued him, grabbing his gun and beat him with it. The victim collapsed at a 7-Eleven store nearby, according to NPR. One victim, it says, not that person. Okay, that's covers it. It's like I say, it's very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. You know, and even above and beyond the normal, we'll put it that way, the normal conspiracies. You cannot convince me that they don't have a way to individually target us and to be able to individually, psychologically affect us. You can't convince me in a million years. In fact, my question is, which method do you want them to do? You want them to use the phone, the computer? Do you want them to use video? Do you want them to use audio? You know, I mean, it is amazing what they can do. You know, that stuff, what do they call it, Havana Syndrome, I believe. You know, who knows who that is? I couldn't tell you that it's not our own government. But it's a real thing, and it's really happening. I know damn well they can drive their rage centers. I know they can individually target those. And I know they can do so wirelessly, if you will. You have to hit the right frequencies. It's a matter of hitting the right frequencies. There's other methods they can use too, but I really heavily suspect, especially in this case, I really heavily suspect that. I really do. It's crazy. Anyway, that's what I had for that little discussion. I just saw the article, and I read about 3/4 of it, I guess. And I was like, yeah, this just doesn't add up. And when they kept trying to drag in the grandfather, that's when it was really, evident, in my opinion. Oh, I agree with you, Christopher. He said, I've been in computers and robotics the majority of my life and electronics, and if people realize the capabilities of AI at this point, and there are multiple AIs, wow. Oh, dude, I feel you. I know exactly what you're talking about. The autonomous things that they already have, the people, yeah. How long is it that they've had that fleet out at sea I believe it's in the Atlantic Ocean? It's nuclear powered and it's completely autonomous and it just goes out there. It's a whole damn fleet of ships. And I don't know if they have, I'm sure they probably have some type of aircraft on them and the whole 9 yards. Supposedly, it just goes about and does its thing. So, and that, hell, I heard about that over a decade ago that I knew about that, and it had already been in development for a while at that point. Yep. It's crazy. That's kind of why I laugh at people when they act like, oh, I'll go up against the government. I got my AR-15 and my bulletproof vest will stand out in my front yard. I'll shoot them drones out of the sky. You will, huh? Okay. Then walks up the robot dog from 50 yards away and pop. Your brain goes poof. Yeah. Good job there, Roger. Yeah, I don't know. It's we probably have a pretty ugly future. Doesn't that make you happy? Makes me want to break out in song and dance like a musical, right? Uh-oh. Jen's had enough. She's shutting it down. No, her computer's been giving her hell all day. So we've made the decision. We've put in all the requisition forms. We've done talk to the tax people and notified everybody that needs to know that we're going to purchase a couple of flash drives for $7 so I can redo Windows on her computer. So yeah, it's a big, need to know thing. Yeah, I made up. I know. I wouldn't be the same if I wasn't. No, they've got a deal on Amazon. $7 for two 32 gigabyte flash drives. Or, little thumb drives. That's a pretty damn good deal. A friend of mine, because I don't have a good one big enough to put an operating system on. Well, I do, but I could only fit one single operating system. That's not how I roll. I roll with a kind of an all-in-one disc. But anywho, I need at least 8. I'd be good with an 8 gig, but $7 buys you two 32 gig flash drives. I don't think I can get a better deal than that. So my other one died. Okay, I guess we can do some headline stuff, and I can go running around the house screaming like I do every Sunday night. Alright. After I drink coffee. Yeah, I don't have any super big updates. Just, I still haven't completely wrapped up the projects. I still need to finish the cleanup and organization. But that won't take long. Gotta get that finished up. Other than that, everything's just going. Flown a little bit, not a lot. Oh, yeah, I did. This is kind of cool. Let's see. That would be one of them. What did I do wrong? There we go. That was one picture. And I think that's the other one. Yep. Anyway. Yeah, so I was playing around in Flight Sim for a little bit earlier. And yes, I did actually land the airplane like that. Did I mention I love aviation? It's fun. I got bored. We were flying from airport to airport. And so when I get bored, I'll fly around and do stupid stuff. Let's see. Alright. North Korea fires another suspected ICBM. That was November 18th. We're on Friday's headlines. White House slams GOP for probing Hunter Biden's conspiracy theories. Serbia boosts gas imports from Russia. Italian power prices more than triple, says data. A Turkish cult leader gets 8,658-year sentence. U.S. running low on arms to give to Ukraine, says CNN. Sentence of museum guard who fixed art is overturned. U.S. Republicans call for scrutiny of aid to Ukraine. Pentagon casts doubts on Iranian missile claim. Iconic Soviet car brand making a comeback. U.S. warns allies over Poland missile incident, says Politico. Let's see. Man with axe and sword seeks out New York Times political section. German fireman arrested over Ukrainian refugee shelter arson. Are they sure that he was seeking out the political section and just wasn't there? Was that particular section? Was he that pissed off at the cartoons? Sweden finds foreign objects on Nord Stream pipelines. FTX boss accused of using offshore funds after bankruptcy. Twitter officers temporarily shut down, employee access suspended, says media. Yeah, that's big news, by the way, about Trump, and Twitter has unbanned Trump, but to my knowledge, he hasn't been back. So I'll look right now. I look. Nope, nothing. So he hadn't said a word. Let's see. I said that headline. EU has frozen $70 billion in Russian assets, says Politico. Russia comments on potential prisoner swap with the U.S. France takes jab at U.S.-led Indo-Pacific bloc. Ukrainian missile-making facility destroyed, says Russian military. Moscow accuses Ukrainian soldiers of killing captives. Yeah, and it looks like they could be accurate on that. Russia and China to abandon dollar and energy trade, says Moscow. Scientists discover two exceptionally bright galaxies. Let's see. Germany hoarding cash to deal with blackouts, says Reuters. New weight of the Earth is revealed, if you ever wanted to know how much the Earth weighed. And I'm telling you what, man, the Earth could lose some weight. I'm just saying. Poland qualifies missile strike as unfortunate accident. Ukraine is war between West and Russia, says Turkish official. Turkey makes arrest in Istanbul blast case. West shouldn't dictate peace terms, says Czech FM. So on Friday's news, Russian oil price cap idea is ridiculous, says former U.S. Treasury Secretary. Hungary reveals cost of sanctions on Russia. South Korea simulates strikes on North's targets. India explains need for tougher oversight of digital currencies. Kiev tried to pressure Russia's neighbor into opening second front, says PM. Biden accused of capitulation. Protesters attack Warhol artwork. Young lady, what is your issue? Have you taken it to the complaint department? Be that way. U.S. funded, oh yeah, this is insane. U.S. funded video game to inoculate kids against fake news, says a watchdog. That is just so insane. New York Times suggests why Russia still has missiles. Let's see. Russian delegation denied visas. Ukraine has policy of executing POWs, says Russia. And again, it would look like they have proof. Elon Musk reinstates some high-profile Twitter accounts. German howitzers face problems in Ukraine, says Der Spiegel. Scandal-plagued Ukrainian envoy gets new job. Prisoner spared execution over medical mishap. U.S. names war crimes prosecutor to investigate Trump. North Korea reveals missile used in ICBM test. Yay, I'm going to drink a coffee. We are to yesterday's news. Just imagine the Jeopardy theme here. Okay, did you get the boom boom? I hope so, because if you missed that, you screwed it all up. Anyway, China accuses UK of violating international trade rules. Trump lashes out at new probe. France warns of power outages. I know, it's incredibly stupid, but what are you going to do? I'm talking about me, not France warning of power outages. UK reduced to rationing eggs. That's nuts. Although I'll tell you what, with the cost of eggs here, it kind of makes you wonder if they aren't really trying to ration them through price. 9 dead after gas explosion destroys apartment block. U.S. blast Russia over prisoner swap talks. Biden weaponizing government against Americans, says a congressman. Not just Biden. Former U.S. billionaire sentenced to 11 years in jail. Musk asked Twitter users to decide on Trump's future. Inflation in Japan highest since 1982. Ukraine, I wish I could go back to 82. Let me keep what I've learned. I don't have to throw that away. Let me keep what I have learned and just go back to 1982 and start over. Please. Let's see. I'd have been 10 years old. And it would have probably just made me even more of a nightmare. Ukraine's top general asked to reduce public profile, says Financial Times. U.S. redeploys long-range bomber to Korean peninsula. German producers warn of meat shortages, say Die Welt. Passenger airliner collides with fire truck and catches fire. That was kind of crazy. And I'm just at a loss. I don't know. I understand that is an emergency vehicle, but an airplane, a moving airplane, I beg to differ on which one has the right of way. I say the moving airplane has the right of way. So, but I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure in that incident, I believe that was the mistake of whoever was driving the fire truck. I'm positive of it, because it was their responsibility to make sure that there was no movement on the runways, and to definitely take a good look before you cross one. So, yeah, that was just crazy. Austria speaks out against Schengen expansion, and I probably said that wrong. Russia wants to decouple national currency trade from dollar, says RBK. EU country makes arrest after Istanbul bombing. Borrell's ideas deepen EU division, says Moscow. France should stop backing Zelensky, says ex-presidential candidate. Moscow and Cairo start construction of newest El Daba NPP reactor. Ukraine could seize Crimea before the year's end, says the MOD. A big proportion of officers unfit to serve, says Scotland Yard. I wonder if they're pushing for something like a federalized police force. Germany warns against escalation between Russia and NATO. Moscow calls Warsaw's ban on FM strip unprecedented. Iran blasts world silence over terrorist attacks. That is kind of interesting. They don't get condemned. Check this out. Only in LA. Thieves in Lamborghini steal catalytic converter in under 2 minutes. Gotta pay for that Lambo somehow. One catalytic converter at a time. A major U.S. broadcaster responds to Musk Twitter takeover. A European fighter jet development to go ahead, says Berlin. West Coast U.S. city guarantees income to trans residents. Single women offered unusual companion. Does it have a little nipple that you blow up? You got to be real careful with it, otherwise it deflates. Does it go buzz? I just, questions. Kim Jong-un's daughter, she's got one. No, she made a public debut. I didn't mean that. Dude, don't EMP me, bro. Spy warning issued for World Cup. Trying to cause international problems here on the Watchman News. Belgian drug seizures overload incinerators. West is pushing Kiev towards talks, says Russian ex-president. Some days I am not fit for the news. I'm sorry. A billionaire apologizes over Boris Johnson's China remarks, says media. Actor pushed sabotage angle in Rust shooting, says report. Banksy reacts to Ukrainian vandals selling his artwork. Harsh winter, get out of the way. Harsh winter ahead for Ukraine, says Pentagon chief. What was your first clue? Rishi Sunak visits Kiev, pledges more air defense for Ukraine. Biden's granddaughter marries at the White House. Because, why not? Outcome of Ukraine conflict will help define 21st century, says the Pentagon. I wonder if Biden's granddaughter married Kim Jong-un's daughter. Nah, I doubt it. Outcome of... What's that I hear? Some whistling noise coming in somewhere. Outcome of Ukraine conflict will help define 21st century, says the Pentagon. I hear you, Rebel. Let's see. Where the hell was I? Are we still even on the same plane of existence anymore? I mean, really? I mean, do you really think that our parallels are completely aligned? I don't know. Take a couple more hits of acid. You'll figure it out. Let's see. No, I'm not tripping. My ass couldn't handle that kind of stuff anymore. No, thank you. Some rides I no longer need to take. Let's see. Okay, we are to today's news. Austrian energy company slammed with massive windfall tax. Power boss urges Ukrainians to leave the country. Turkey to complete gas hub roadmap by year end, says energy minister. Musk allows Trump back on Twitter. Western officials believe Russia has made drone deal with Iran, says Washington Post. Stock up on bottled water and canned food, official tells Germans. 5 killed, 18 injured in Colorado Springs gay club shooting. That's what we talked about at the beginning of the show. Texas recalls over 300,000 cars. Texas, that's a Texas Tesla. Tesla, I'm just making shit up over here. Let's see. Russia has impressive weapons, says U.S. Defense Secretary. Zelensky making Ukrainians suffer, says ex-Japanese PM. I would agree on that. U.S. household debt skyrockets, says Federal Reserve. Well, yeah, what do you think happens? Keep raising those interest rates and really put people's tits in the ringer, will ya? Twitter may face further layoffs, says Bloomberg. Major volcanic eruption expected in Russia, says scientists. Germans face over 50% energy price hike, says media. World headed for silver deficit, says a report. Ukraine shelled radioactive waste storage, says an official. Turkey bombs terrorist targets in Syria and Iraq. New Epstein documents unsealed. Because, you know, they don't unseal themselves. Russia sanctions could leave Germans without popular Christmas decorations, says Bild. Russia targets Ukrainian aircraft engine plant. Biden breaks age record. Well, at least it's not as hip. China announces first COVID-19 death since May. Uh-oh. Back on lockdown for 3 years. UN demands investigation into Russian POW execution video. So, I mean, that's the UN. They're demanding investigation. So, a German army has 20 billion euro ammo shortfall, says top MP. No, me not love you long time. No, you go ho. You ho. Me not love you long time. Sorry. Yeah, I know. I looked up and so I had about finding love, and I'm like, what? Let's see. U.S. moves to counter Beijing's territorial claims. Trump hesitant to return to Twitter. Honestly, I think he's an idiot if he doesn't. However, I will remind you, be very, very careful. Please. I don't trust this Musk thing one bit. Or the Trump thing one bit. And I certainly don't trust the two together. Let's see. Hell on earth may break out in Kosovo, says Serbian president. U.S. Republican leader pledges crackdown on China. Arms sent to Ukraine could end up with terrorists, says the UK. Kiev is a Russian city, says former president. Iran denounces UN watchdog draft uranium resolution. Kazakh president wins snap elections, says exit polls. Kanye West returns to Twitter. I normally wouldn't share stuff like that, but because of all of the politics involved, I did. And that's it. The last thing I shared was the that heavy article. Fun times. Not really, but... Oh, thank you, Charles. I'm trying. That's all I can do is try. So thank you very much, though. I'm like I say, I'm trying. In all of my broken ways, I hope I at least even make the tiniest difference. Just the smallest. But, I'll tell you, it's getting crazier and crazier. Well, I'm going to get off of here, and I'm going to probably jump in bed pretty quickly. How this weather has got kind of really cold, and talk about swollen joints. So hopefully we're supposed to be heading for a little bit of a warm-up, and hopefully it won't be quite so bad. So I tell you what, it just tears me up, and I use a heating pad, but other than that, there is no relief. But anyway, I am out of here. I will talk to you all tomorrow night, God willing. Hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.